Hello, can you hear me? Better, maybe. It looks like my levels are better. Hopefully you can confirm, chat can confirm that they can actually hear me now. Cool, yeah. So it must be something with how Windows remembers microphones on different USB ports, or the same microphone on different USB ports. Anyways, hello, hey, I'm Joshua. Let's do this again. Today is June 1st, 2017, and today I'm working on my video game Delver. You can find it at delvergame.com. We are a two-man team working on this in our free time. If you don't know what Delver is a procedural dungeon crawler with fantasy, roguelike, and first-person shooter elements. I am the art guy. I do all the 2D, 3D art. I do some level design. I do a bit of programming. I guess there are only two of us on the project, so we do a lot of different things. And today I'm just going to do some art and keep working on this new dungeon area, which I need to wrap up sometime this month. So no pressure, but let's get productive and let's get going. Okay, so I guess I've been working on so basically, I'm trying to get it so that this our generator system does a lot more of the work for us. Specifically, we have a system called the GenInfo system, and what that does is you can tell it a particular texture on the floor, the ceiling, or the wall, and you can tell it to place an item there. So I've been enhancing like the wall. We've supported putting stuff on walls for a very long time, but it's just it wasn't like it was not in a good state. So I've been shoring that up. So right now, like if you see here, I can hit play, and let me see if I have an example. Like it will just dynamically place these windows on the walls, which is pretty cool. So if I exit out of play mode, the window's not there. So I'm trying to get ways of building rules that will just decorate the level for the designer. So you can just block out, like if I were to just go over here and create just a big room. Let me also make sure I'm using the correct. It is sensitive to what textures and tile sets you are using, so keep that in mind. So I can just grab this, make this into a tall room, and I can hit play. Let me put some torches in here so we can actually see what we're doing. Okay, so hit play, and so you can see like the floors automatically, like the floors and wall textures get varied automatically. Like we place grass, and we place these little flies dynamically. Also, I'm working on the system here. Like, I put this wood post dynamically. Also, put this crate in the corner. That's a new feature I've been tweaking, where, for example, the windows always spawn on this wall texture, and then they always make sure that they have enough ceiling height for them to kind of spawn into. And actually, it looks like I need to raise the ceiling a little bit. I think it's fine for them to spawn, but it looks a little weird. So let me just pull that up. Hit play. And yeah, we got a window here and a crate in the corner. So I've added a couple new flags to the GenInfo objects. One is attached to floor. By default, this was true, but now you can say false, and that's why this window appears with a Z offset. So if you set the attached floor to false and give it a Z value, it will offset the placement of the entity by that, which is handy for placing stuff up on walls. Otherwise, you have the option to attach it to the floor or attach it to the ceiling and nothing in between. So now you can kind of, like I'm just offsetting it from the floor, which is handy. Also, the place in corner is not really a flag, it's an int, because it can be 0, which means I really don't care. You can place this wherever. And that typically, like these posts are using that. These posts can show up in corners, they can show up wherever. I'm just trying to pop in and out and try to get some good. I guess I could turn up the rules. Let me go look at these rules real quick. So the window on a wall, let's turn that up to 100%, so 1.0. So basically any texture that matches, it will put a window on it. And for the crates, Also, I'm going to make it 100% if the floor texture matches. Put a crate there and plate. And yeah, so we get a crate in each corner, and then there should be windows on the walls. So the crates are flagged to only appear in corners. So they are a place in corner of value of 1, and then the windows actually are flagged to never appear in corners. So they have a place in corners value of -1, which I think is handy because having windows in corners just looks odd. Like we wouldn't do that naturally, so you can use that little rule to try to make help make it look a little bit more nice. I'm curious why they don't seem to be appearing on this side of the wall, which is interesting. Maybe it's when I cleared that out, maybe I got the wrong. Maybe it's using the, there we go, yeah. It was using the old dungeon texture sheet, which is the same texture, but has a different atlas, so it doesn't actually count. So now we get stuff on both sides, which looks kind of cool. I'm just trying, like right now it's turned up way too high, but I'm trying to find like lots of variety and lots of objects to kind of slap everywhere, so you can make some pretty basic rooms, but it'll still look nice. Let me see what Chad is saying. Oh, hey Chad. Thanks for stopping by, man. Hey Nick. How are you, sir? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so thanks, Chad. I'm trying to make just some good changes. So like, yeah, so like I figured out like what was wrong with the prefabs being slapped on the wall. So if you notice, there are 2 different types of windows now. There's an arched window and a square window, and they have like I think 3 different things that can appear on them. They can be boarded up. They can be like these like this metal slats, or they can have like these metal bars. Somewhere. Yeah, these metal bars here. So there are 2 outsides and 3 insides, so there's 6 different permutations of windows. So I'm trying to figure out like little combinations like that. So basically, you have a like the window sill, and then we have stuff inside of it, and that's a prefab. And the wall decorator is now smart enough to place these. So they always get put at a correct height, and yeah, the collision is correct. Let me get something like not a 501, that will kill me. So you also get like they're set up to be solid, so you can get like all the what you'd expect. Because I wasn't cheating and I didn't make them no clip there. They are placed prefabs. So then over here, it plays well with all the other stuff. So they do their best. They shouldn't clip into level geo. They do their best to avoid like being placed inside other things. It's not always 100%, but I think I've got it shored up pretty well. Yeah. So just trying to make the generation do most of the work for us. Yeah. So yeah, as Chad is pointing out, like going from empty room to decorated room with very little work is what I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make it so like you can get a pretty decent layout without having to do a lot of work, which means it's easier to make more rooms, and also it's easier to write rules for the computer to make rooms for us. Yeah, cool. So Nick, don't spoil secret stuff for Strafe. But I'm glad you guys are still hard at work. Cool. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna make some props maybe and just kind of hang out. Yeah, here you can see. Let me see. Yeah, these are the 2 window frames, and that's just a board. Then I have just a couple of different varieties of things to put in there. Yeah, maybe a 4th one would be nice. Then we'd get 8 different variants of windows. Also lately, I've been looking at actually, for a source of inspiration is like role playing and wargaming miniatures terrain, because I think they have really cool proportions. So that's something I've been kind of using for inspiration, just kind of looking at. Let me see. Oh man. Yeah, yeah, Nick. If you're handing out scones, yeah, you can bring a few my way also. I don't know what I did there. Let me just close that and relaunch Blender. Um, cool. Okay. Also, too, I need to like this the because I think the post I'm using is from the cold area, and the collision isn't quite correct on it. So I'll probably just make a new post for this dungeon area with correct collision. But you should be able to real quickly. Let me see something like dungeon. Yep, lower wall. Say that. Ceiling. That and floor. That. Then we can maybe something like that. And pull that up. And pull this down. Yeah. I wonder if I should also have it place. I mean, if you have a dynamically placed lights, I guess the designer loses a bit of control, but also, and also you run the risk of it blowing out unless they're pretty rare. But yeah, just trying to. Yeah, I think this is a pretty successful example of making something interesting pretty quick. Yeah, I played around with that flag I was working on a few streams ago, or a banner, and I'm just not really, still not feeling it. So I'm probably gonna stick to just kind of geo for the time being. Yeah, so you see how this guy is offset from the wall, and that's just an artifact because its collision actually extends beyond the model. So I can fix that. I'll just do it now. Since I'm thinking about it and since it's bothering me, I can just do it now. Yeah. I know that lives in this the cold area. Yeah, one of these with some bits of chain and stuff. Should be cold meshes. There we go. So it just reuses some wood texture there, a bit of chain, and then this metal texture over here, which I think I have basically everything I need already on the this new dungeon sheet. So let me just, I forget how to actually move this between scenes. Can I do that in the hierarchy? Or outliner? This is cold scene, wood post 01. If I duplicate that, can I then put it into that scene? Somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. Okay. I think this post actually isn't also, it's also not square, so I might fix that up a little bit too. Um, Actually, I might be able to reuse this texture right here. So looking at it, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is correct. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's strange. Why is it? Yeah, that makes everything weird. Yeah, so let me fix this. Okay. Then actually, dungeon meshes. There we go. Just trying to position it back on the new texture sheet for the new dungeon area. And not all these are going to hang around. Some of these are going to get removed. I'm just kind of right now. I'm just still kind of freestyling, trying to figure out what I want this thing to look and feel like. And I want to move it here and then kind of just snap this to grid. There we go. That should fix that stuff. The chain still should be aligned okay. I can kind of just wing this, I suppose. I already have kind of this end already for the big pieces of wood have this end, so I can just kind of reuse it right there, which I think is probably not the worst thing. Also, I can maybe grab these and offset them. Since I already have the unique texture space, I might as well use it. I think with this, I think I can use this quite easily. So let's just project from view and scale this down. It should. Again, if I stick to my grid and try to keep things in a nice power of 2, things should just kind of work out nicely. Good. Okay, so something isn't quite right. Just need to go. That looks closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Weird. 1, 2, 14. Yes, it's 14 by 14, which so if I don't know why the proportions are so weird for that. I guess I don't know. Don't have any good answers for you there. Let me just grab the corners here because I want to leave this stuff where it is, but I want to scale these out. Let's just scale Shift Y to roughly there, then snap selection to grid. I'm also still perplexed why it's behaving Oh, oh, weird. That is also why, because these introverts are. One, two, eight. So, okay. I need to add another pixel here. This needs to come in like that. But I fixed it for some, but it's still wonky for others. Okay. Because I think these need to go down one. There we go. That's looking better. Yeah, I guess for some folks it's lunchtime. And let's see if I did this correct. This one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's an awkward size. I can probably just resize this a little bit. Be 8, and then reuse this texture over here. So let's just scale this on the Y. And snap selection to grid. I guess I'm going to lose the nice highlights I had. I guess I can just kind of fake it or recreate it real quick. Yeah, because it's gonna be 8 across, but it's gonna be like 10 in this direction, which is okay, I suppose. Yeah, let me real quick. Let's just go over here into Photoshop and grab an 8x10 chunk. Just duplicate it. And kind of make it a little tricky to work with our texture sheet because, again, oh well, shouldn't be the worst though. Just like that. Actually, I don't know if I want the harsh line there. Maybe push it like this and like that. Together. And remove these, a little piece of bit right there. That seems okay. Let me just save that, and then over here in Blender, I can highlight, just put the cursor over there, the texture, and hit Alt-R, and that will pull up the refresh the file off disk. And then here, I can just I'm just kind of manually translating this by hand. Okay. Cool. All right, that's looking okay. Again, this is just trying to get some reuse out of these textures here, and I could probably even use the side of this for this over here. It looks to be somewhat close. Yeah. Looking at the grid, it looks like it does line up okay there. Top, yep. Other side, bottom. Yeah, that's looking all right. Or not the worst, however you want to think about it. And yeah, these are just one these are just one little pixels now. I guess they've always been a 1 pixel thing, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of a highlight with them, not worry too much about it. Okay. Just slam it over here. I'm not sure why they're offset the way they are, but that should fix them. I almost wonder if I should put it on this little piece over here. I guess the highlight would match up better that way. Maybe just on the front piece. That's the part that I guess really matters. That might be too noisy now. Ugh. Yeah, let's not do that. That's fine. I can live with that. What is it? It might live okay there. Meh. That's enough. That's enough of that, Joshua. Okay. I'm liking where this is headed. I just need to fix the chain. I think I just copy and paste the chain chunk and be happy with that. So it lived on the cold texture sheet. So texture is cold, meshes, and I think, yeah, it's just an alpha chunk right here. It is a full tile. Maybe I could. So I want to make good use of my texture space, but also, like, if I start slamming it into weird spots, it makes it kind of hard to work with sometimes. Like, I could slam it right there. That might be okay. Really would like to have it up here, like to have it more in context, but yeah, that's gonna have to work. So down here, I can just delete that and let the alpha show through. It should be 5 wide, which I think is the correct size for this. So reload. I guess I need to save, and then over in Blender reload. There we go. These are just a couple. These are 4 planes. There we go. Is that correct? I think that is. You just line it there. Snap selected pixels. There we go. So I think that the trick is making sure let me go ahead and save my changes so I don't lose them, and go back to default. And I want to make sure the origin is correctly positioned, because I only want this wood post part to be solid. Oh, yeah, I'm okay. For a moment there, I thought I saw an artifact, but I guess I did not. Okay. Yeah, so it's just repositioning the origin to be in a better spot, because right now it's kind of offset. Let me see. I guess what I can do is just really quickly, I can grab this edge here and duplicate it, along the Y. And then I can select, say, this and this, hit Shift S, cursor to selected, and then I can go ahead and just delete this edge back here because it doesn't do anything. And then now I can hit set origin to 3D cursor. And now for Delver, this should be in a more appropriate spot because again, Delver assumes that the bounding box is in the bottom center of the item. So this should be the correct spot for the bounding box. And then let me go ahead and just get this exported out to Delver. So again, let's move this onto its early. Just go to local mode, Alt G. There we go. So now it's, if I turn on my grid floor, it is in the world 0, positioned correctly because that's important for Delver. Let's go File, Export, OBJ. We want to do selection only. We don't want to write materials. We do want to triangulate faces, and let's put it in Delver props. Nope. Dungeon, meshes dungeon, and I want, I think it would, underscore post, underscore 0, export. And then real quick, I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm just going to delete this. I think for the cold area, I had two varieties, and that was nice. Yeah, so I'll just re-export this without the chain as another variant. Or I could make it a prefab and have it kind of dynamically dangle stuff. That might be interesting. We could have it like I could have a chain or a chain with a lamp, stuff like that. Let me export this out and just kind of mull it over. Export and then undo. Yeah, so let me see. So Blindfold Studio says, what game engine are you using? Yeah, Cuttigan is the primary developer, and I am the art guy for this project. There's a game called Delver. I guess I can play Delver real quick. Let me stop this. Let me play the Steam version because my dev branch is a little. It's in an interesting state because I'm working on creating new decorations for redoing the dungeon area. Plate. Well, I think I may have mods installed too, so that could be that's going to be interesting to have player mods installed. Yeah. And this is Chad's Overworld mod, which is pretty cool. It's a custom mod that adds a near infinite overworld for folks who want overworld stuff. So let's go down. Can I go down a level? Maybe not. Hey, Jonathan. Let me uninstall that one so I can actually play a little bit of Delver. Yep, it is that's an excellent way of describing it as a custom engine with a base framework. Like we basically get an OpenGL context and some minor or some basic input handling and audio stuff, and the rest of that chat is written. Games Delver. Browse the workshop. You see how to do it. Browse my subscribed items. Let's unsubscribe from this so I can actually play the game. Make the library play. Erase and play. Yep, somebody's. Oh yeah, the Dungeons of Floor. Yeah. So let me uninstall that one too because that's a total conversion that adds a bunch of handmade levels, which is really cool. But it's not stock Delver. Let me just unsubscribe from everything, unfortunately. So I just get vanilla Delver. I think I went crazy on my last stream, just like adding a whole bunch of mods. There we go. Yeah, I think Chad has been working on it about 5 years, and I've been on the project about 4. Again, we work on this in our free time, so it's not our full-time gig. So we try to be judicious with our time and what we work on. Yeah, this is the start area. It has a campfire with some people you can buy stuff from or get lore from if those are things that you're interested in. I started a new save slot, so I don't have a lot of gold, so I'm just going to go ahead and go down in the dungeon. Yeah, so the dungeons are procedurally generated, and it's a combination of piecing together hand-built rooms like a jigsaw puzzle, and also letting the computer build rooms. So it's an interesting combination of techniques that I think works pretty well for us. Because if they were all hand-built rooms, it would mean a lot of work for us, and if it was all computer-built, it would look kind of crazy. So trying to find a nice balance is kind of the name of the game, and that's kind of what the work I'm doing for this new dungeon area is trying to come up with what the new dungeon area should look like. And then Chad will update the room builder to make rooms that look like mine, and I will update my style to make rooms that kind of look like his, and back and forth until we have the new dungeon area. Ooh, unique item. Nice. Yeah, so you get it's a dungeon crawler with some first-person shooter elements, some roguelike elements. You notice that this fire wand kind of acts like a mix between a grenade launcher and a rocket launcher. It does splash damage, has a little bit of gravity attached to it. And there are some light RPG elements. You have like equipable stuff. You have a level. Your levels go up. You can add points to stats, but it's not super important. I mean, they do make a difference, but you don't really necessarily live and die by your stats. You can kind of adapt your playstyle as you go. There aren't any classes. Again, we're trying to keep it pretty lightweight, so the classes basically are just whatever equipment you're using at any given time. And a short bow, nice. This is an example of a hand-built room. It's like a little mead hall. So you have like this this little table with some like a little arcade above, which is kind of cool. You can go up there if you want. I don't think there's anything up here really. Just some set items. A chair. I think over here's a book and some candles and stuff. Just trying to make this place have a little bit of life to it. And these traps get randomly dropped on tiles. I think the next level down I hit, or the next time I die, I will go back to working. Cool. That's not it. So many bows, but not enough arrows, which I guess is a common problem. I've been debating whether or not to add an additional field to items that when they get spawned, you can also have them spawn additional stuff, which might be a solution to that. Let me check my map. Yeah, I need to go north. Cool. Nice, yeah. So Bluestone's saying that they created a mod that adds an entirely new set of levels to the dungeon called the Library, and they only use hand-built levels, which is pretty cool. Oops, and I attacked that potion, but it's an area of effect if you do that. You can also throw potions if you're so inclined. There we go. And arrows, so now I can whip out the old bow and do my archer stuff. And I meant to go north, but I didn't. So let's do that now. Amazonic said there should be more music tracks on different levels. Hearing 1 to 2 tracks looping over and over again turns me crazy. It's not a bad suggestion. maybe for final release, we will bump some of that content up a little bit. I don't know. I guess it all just depends on what's in our budget and you know what Chad's thoughts on that are. But we have two different musicians who have helped us out over the lifetime of the project. The guy who did the original music years ago, I believe it goes by the name White Wolf, but is no longer on the project. We parted ways amicably. Nothing bad there. Then I think our new music guy is called Nathan, but I always mess up his name and I feel really bad. Okay, I'm out of. I go collect my arrows. I think I got most of them back. Level down. Where is this? Ooh, a poison sword. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I played enough for people to get the gist of what Delver's about. Let me get back to work. Actually, I need to take a quick break, but I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Yeah, no, that would be crazy just to yeah. So Chad's talking about this like it's a wave function collapse algorithm, but basically it's crazy. You can give it a bit of a 2D bitmap and it can just extrapolate out patterns from that, which is crazy. Which might be an interesting way to try to basically it would be lovely if we could just make maybe like a like 2 or 3 rooms for each type and just have it like extrapolate from there, which would be cool. I don't know if it's going to be within the scope of this project, but there's always cool stuff to play around with. So I was working on exporting out this prop. So let me just pull it into the editor real quick and take a look at it just to make sure I got everything set up correctly. Okay, so let's go right click, place entity. I'm going to place the cold one first, and then I'll come back and I'll fix it. So if I look at if you look at the wood post here, yeah, this is also maybe Chad, we should do something about like having a max size on this, because right now, because it has so many different meshes, it just like fills up the viewport here. But because the origin was off, you see the bounding box is not quite correct here. So if I duplicate this, say on the I think that X or the Y, and then I can change this to be dungeon and wood post. Okay. Then this needs to be textures, dungeon meshes. There we go. There we are. And then now if we look at the collision is now correctly centered. We just need to find the correct dimension for it. Let me just count real quick. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay. So let's get the calculator out. And then I'll put the calculator over on the window you can see, but it should just be 19, 19 over 32, which is 59375. Divided by 2 is 2967. I can just copy this, I think, and that should be the value I need in our editor. So on this axis, paste. Did I not? I missed a decimal place there. 0 point. There we go. Perfect. And then this should be 125. There we go. Now we have perfect collision for the wood post thing here, or at least a good approximate, right? I'm not taking into account the base plate or this plate here, but that should be correct. So let me just JSON this, and then it'll pop up a little window here with the JSON definition for this, and I'm going to create a prefab. So let's go into entities. And then I think I have dungeon sets. And then I'm going to create a wood post here. I should just copy this whole thing, because right now it's just a simple model. It doesn't necessarily have to be a group. I mean, if I want to do the whole nesting prefabs thing, then yeah, it does need to be a group, which might be cool. That's what I'm doing with the windows, but it's not necessarily it's not needed quite yet. I can just copy this and then paste that in, and the other variant is just wood post 1. So now here, if I hit play. Okay, and refresh. Now I should be able to right click, place prefab, dungeon sets. Nope, maybe might have to relaunch the editor. Let's check this out, see if it works. All right click, place prefab, dungeon sets, wood post. Where'd it go? Did it? This is not good. Woodpost underscore 1.obj. What did I call it? View toggle collision boxes. Yeah, they did not get added, and I was fairly certain that's what I called it. Let's take a look. Dungeon or assets meshes. No. Dungeon woodpost 1.obj. Meshes, dungeon, wood post. Why can I not find that? That's strange. So entity, dungeon sets. No, that's what broke. Let's place architecture meshes, wood post here. Then just update the wood post 1.obj. Yeah, that loaded just fine. Place entity, dungeon sets, wood post. Yeah, that's strange. Oh, is it I think it's this space is killing it. Maybe we should do a trim on those strings. Dungeon sets. Yeah, there we go. That's what was causing all the issue. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now I can update my. Let's go over here and update my info over here. Should have a window on a wall, post on a wall, and that uses dungeon sets. Hey, Michael. Wood post, yeah. There we go. So let's just open up my test room. Load. And hit play. Let me crank up the percent chance that they're going to get. Right now, the post on the wall has a pretty small chance. So let's just crank that up to like 9. And they should get slapped down everywhere. Yeah, there we go. There's one without a chain, one with. So yeah, that's working out nice. And also, it's smart enough. Well, I guess it's not smart. It's smart enough to not overlap, but looks funny there. I think with the same way with the windows, I'm going to put the new flag I created, not to spawn them in corners because I think that looks odd. Like I don't think you'd actually want to put these like this in a corner. I don't know if it makes sense or not. So let me just maybe Chad can make a suggestion here. Right now, I'm using just an integer. So if place in corner is less than 0, do not place it in a corner. If place in corner is greater than 0, only place it in a corner. And if place in corner is not present, it defaults to the value of 0, which means just place it wherever you want. Yeah, so now these get placed, but not in the corner because it looks weird. And maybe, like, I think I have it set up to where it will occasionally spawn crates in the corners. This is just all dynamic. I think the crates are probably pretty high too. Let me back some of these off. So this was point, let's say 0.75, just a little bit higher than it was. And then crate in a corner is probably pretty high. Yeah, let's make that maybe 10% chance. Again, it's just these numbers are very just kind of pulled out of thin air, and I just try to play it a bit to get like a feel for what the areas look like that it creates. Yeah, let me just maybe create a fresh room over here to see what it's doing. For some reason, I like this style where I lower the ceiling to kind of partition off the area. Yeah, let's hop in here and see what it does. So yeah, I think the windows still might be turned up all the way to 1, I think, which is too much. That's a little happy accident right there. That's kind of cool looking. So interesting. I'm trying to think. These, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So now just to make more props to make this system better than it is. And also maybe since I know stuff's corners, I can put stuff that's a little bit more blocking into corners and kind of be okay with it. Yeah, and enum would probably be better. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. So let's go to GenInfo. Let's do a public enum. What do we call this? Corner placement. Never. Don't care. Always. I need a good term for don't care. Actually, yeah. So enums work differently, Joe. So never. Yep, that's something, Chad. Maybe we could put like rubble piles and maybe pillars and stuff that might be blocking in there. Maybe. Yeah. No rule. Hey, Evram. Sometimes. Never, sometimes, always. I don't know. Always, never. Yeah, so this indicates when you're placing this decoration object, never place it in a corner. Only place it in a corner. Maybe. Yeah, the logic here is a little strange. Well, it's not really strange. It's never place it, always place it. I mean, never, only, and like ambivalent. I spelled it wrong. Kosher. I'll just do sometimes. That seems to kind of make sense. And then this this placing corner is now a corner placement, and it equals sometimes. Yeah, kosher, halal. Okay, so now I need to fix this here. I think this needs to now be something like placing corner has to be the actual enum, and I think it has to be this whole string. Is that right, Chad? Let me look for enum. Here, enum. Or can I just do strings and will it convert it correctly? Is my question. Here it looks like it does it okay there. Let me just try it. Let me try placing corner always. Yeah, cool. And then placing corner never. Then this one should also be never. Then I need to fix my logic here. Info place in corner. is not equal to dot sometimes. Okay, so if it's in the corner and it's not supposed to be in the corner, basically this is just shortcutting the placement of the GenInfo. So if you're supposed to be in the corner and the info says never place in the corner, or this one should be always. Only. Did I goof that up? And then here, the crate should be only. Cool. I think that's place in corner only, never, never. And let's see if I've broken the world. Let me also go over to my here and do a Control Shift F9 to monkey patch. Oh, it's still broken. What have I goofed? Yeah, I'll also change the GenInfo. Yeah, I can't monkey patch it. So let's just rerun it. There we go. And let's just verify that my changes haven't negatively impact how things are working. That looks fine. That looks fine. Dakota, yeah. So I'm working on how the wall decorator and some of these GenInfo objects are, how their logic works. I'm trying to, I'm enhancing, I'm just making it a little bit more flexible so we can do some, I don't know, try to make it easier for us to make interesting stuff. So let's post on the wall. Yeah, so the window on the wall should be 1.0, so we should see windows all over the place, provided they're on the right texture. Yeah, there we go. We got windows. Yeah, so that's the I guess the trouble with procedural generation is sometimes you're not sure if you just got the RNG rolled against you or your stuff's not actually working. But yeah, this seems to be working correctly. So the posts and the windows never get placed in the corners, and the crates will only get placed in corners. So yeah, so here's an example of 2 crates being placed in corners, which is cool, which allows you to hopefully do some more interesting stuff. Also, you notice for this area, I've placed down a spawn blocker, so that otherwise it would generate crates in here on occasion. I don't want to do that, so you can use spawn blockers to prevent GenInfos from spawning. Which again is a handy little tool for designers to kind of help the decorator go in the right direction. Yeah, that's kind of a cool look, I guess, with these like double posts. Not quite sure like functionally why that would be, but I think it looks cool. I think these also need to be scooted over one because for some odd reason it's off and it's bugging me. There we go, and save. Cool. Yeah. Dakota says, "Isn't that our goal in the first place?" Yeah, but even more so. Like again, I keep going back to the example of basically the idea is to basically make an empty room and have the computer decorate that for you in a fairly interesting fashion. Is the idea there? Because sometimes, like if you look at my ruins dev stream, sometimes each room took me anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to make, and that's just a lot of time spent making rooms. So the more we can have the computer do for us, the better. Yeah, I think the posts are turned all the way up again. So let's, again, it's working, so let's back them off. So window on the wall, maybe 0.2, and then wood post 0.75. That should be relatively low. I'm not sure why it's placing as much as it is. 0.05. There we go. Again, you're trying to find a happy balance where it's not like super crazy, but also you get little bits of interest. Dr. Hegel says maybe in addition to flies, have spiders on the wall or floor too. Maybe it's not a bad suggestion, having a little bit more ambient life. Because I think he's noticing, like we do, just occasionally plop down a little swarm of flies. I think if you right click, I think they're called, what are they? Yeah, flies. And if I ungroup it, it's a critter. So it's just a collection of flies that get spawned in, and they just do little fly stuff. I'll turn that to. So I turned their floating. I turn all their floatings to. I think when I made the mouse, I think I accidentally made it a monster, not a critter, but I can't remember now. Maybe, let me make flightless flies. They're still. They shouldn't be floating. Weird. And I believe the reason that we get a random number of them each time is I think they have a spawn chance. Yeah, so they have a 6 in 10 chance of showing up at any given time. So 4 is the most, and 0 is the minimum actually, but usually you'll get some value in between. Cool. And you put a window there because why not put a window right there, or 2 windows? Because it's allowed to do that. So Dakota, what that is if you go File, New, you can use the room builder for that. So what you can do is you can go up here and say Level, Set Theme. Maybe you want a dungeon set theme. Then you can go Edit, Generate Room, Dungeon Room, and it will just generate one for you. This is just using the room builder. This already exists. So eventually my changes here will get propagated into the room builders. Also thinking maybe I like the idea of bookcases, and I think I have an old bookcase. I can drop in that as a test, and then I can I can do a model after that. So because I'm not super happy with the bookcase model that exists in Delbra as is. Let me just kind of position this somewhere on my little mock-up. I can just snap it to a vertex because again the origin's at a slightly strange spot because the way Delbra wants it to be. There we go. Maybe put that back to increment and then just kind of slap it up there like it belongs. Cool. Yeah, I think in the, maybe was it dungeon scene? Yeah, I have these bookcases that really aren't super great, but I can use them. I think they're even in the game. Place entity dungeon misc mesh. Well, then bookshelf 0. Yep, that's the one. And what texture sheet does this want? Textures. Textures / room / meshes? No. Let me take a look. It's weird that the different workspaces in Blender keep track of different scenes, which is a bit. I guess I wasn't expecting it to do that. Okay. Well, what's material using? Room texture material. Room texture. Okay. So yeah, it's not using room meshes. It's using the room textures, which should be for world geo, not for mesh geo. But this obviously is just a textures. There we go. Yeah, so for the existing models, I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm just going to add new spiffy ones for the dungeon update. So don't worry about. I'm going to do my best not to break folks. I'm not going to change the old stuff. The old stuff, unfortunately, at this point in time, just kind of has to live forever in Delver. Just the new stuff will use the new organization kind of scheme and should be a little bit higher in quality. Let's fix the collision. Yeah, a little awkward, but that should be okay. Yeah, so I guess I'd like. I think it'd be cool if the GenInfo thing also slapped these on the walls. So what I can do is I can have it spawn, not based on wall texture, but just have it spawn based on just floor texture, and then I can have it kind of just shimmy it up against the wall. And then I can go in and I can make the bookcases look better. And maybe again use some sort of nesting prefab system, get a lot of variety out of it. Yeah, I'm trying to have a balance of both like wood and metal in the new dungeon theme. So yeah, right. There's a lot of stone and metal here. So this bookcase, I want to maybe it might be a mix of metal and wood. I'm not sure. Okay, let's do 2JSON. Let's just copy this. Okay. Then let me go into dungeon sets. And I'm just going to add in. Yeah, and also like for some reason the whole tabbing on that stuff is goofy. Okay, this is bookshelf or case. I don't know. That should be okay. And then in my info.dat, I want to spawn this similar to how I do the, I guess how I'm doing the crate in a corner, but not actually spawn a crate, spawn just a bookshelf and not in a corner. So this should be bookcase. On wall. So placing corner never. Dungeon sets. Bookcase. And what I want is to slam it on the wall also. So I've slightly changed how that works too. Attached to wall only used to do it if the wall texture matched, but if you don't define a wall texture, then it will go ahead and align it to a wall for you. There we go. So that should, and also let's just change this to 1 so we get lots of bookcases. Let me delete this one and hit play. And my orientation is off. Yeah. Let me go and take a look at my entity definition. Yeah, just clear out the rotation. Yeah. My collision weird now? Feels like it's close to being correct. Let me place it. Let me see if I can place it as an entity and take a look at it. Or do I have to restart the? Yeah, I have to restart the editor for that to appear in the right mouse menu. Bluestone says, which key combination do I use to delete the tabs? Yeah, you can use tab to tab stuff over. Like I can select this and hit tab to tab it over, or you can hit shift tab to make it go back. Most text editors, that's pretty standard tab functionality. Now it feels like the collision is off by the X and Y. So let's try flipping it. Yeah, there's some strangeness with prefab and the orientation. Yeah, it's still not. I've kind of got it working, but as you can see, it's still not great. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe Chad could speak more to this, but it seems like the prefabs and the models behave differently than the other, and I had to have them actually. Yeah, it's not great. Let me place an entity and see what's going on. Yeah. Also, let me. I did 0.5 and 1375. Let me just, out of curiosity, let me place the window and see if it does the same thing. Because the windows are the one I've got working, but prefab, dungeon sets. Window. Then, I'm sorry. Entity dungeon sets window. Then I can group it. Yeah, so that one. So the collision on that one's fine. So maybe entity dungeon sets. Okay. Yeah. So I need to flip the X and Y. Yeah. Let's delete this stuff. And this one too. Like, there we go. There we go. Yep. I had just messed up my definition. Except for here, it's still not quite right. And also I wonder if I should make the bookcase not as tall or make the windows taller. It seems odd that they kind of overlap like that. Yeah, there's still something going on with these. Yeah. Yeah, back to debugging for me, but I got it working kind of okay. At least for the window cases, it's working fairly solid. Yeah. What if I make it a group, will that fix it? Out of morbid curiosity. Yeah, it's not pretty, but it should work. Yep. So I broke something. Entities. Oh. There we go. Oh boy. That's not my new dungeon theme. Open. Quarry? Something's broken. Yeah. Let me undo these changes because it looks like I've broken the editor. A quick way to test is if the right-click menu is empty, then you've broken things. So let's open levels test. Yeah, there we go. So let's try putting this in a group again. This needs to be like that, like that. This needs to be like I've already gooped it up. There we go. then this should terminate there. It's not right. I got extra. What's the extra one? Because this is the group. This is the list of entities. There we go. Let's try that. That seems okay. Test. Good. Cool. Yeah. So I think So the code that I wrote, it seems to work best when stuff's grouped. So I need to refactor it to also make sure that it works well with models. Okay. Cool. Take care, Bluestone. Yeah. So. I'm wondering if I should, because these are arbitrary. They're like, I think they feel okay for height, maybe. If I spawn a monster, do they look enormous? So monsters, debug, friendly guy. They don't look super weird, I guess. They're big bookcases, but they're not super crazy. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, let's see if I can make a better bookcase. I think dimensions, that one's probably okay. I think it's close to 1.5, although it's 1 point something, 375. Also, too, I need to be mindful if they spawn next to each other. What does that look like? And just trying to find ways to add little bits of life. Okay. Yeah, this might be overly like ornate or complex. Let me duplicate it, and then let me see if I can just throw it over to the this scene here, dungeon refresh, wherever that ended up. I think it maintains the same layer it was on. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I think it might be because there's a refresh. If I can flip it to GLSL, it should be correct. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. I'm just gonna play around and see what I can come up with. Like I think, like I think having it two-sided is not probably great. I'd rather have it slammed up against a wall. I think this should just be a single 32 by 32 texture or a 1 by 1. Yeah, it is. I guess it's also true. That's because I didn't build the books to the grid that they're 3 instead of like 4 or 2. That I'm getting this weird sizing probably because I think I'd probably just sliced it on a. Well, I don't think I sliced it like that, but it would make my life easier, because then it could be a nice like power of 2 or whatever. I may do that. I'm also playing around with the idea. I think it would be cool maybe to there we go. Maybe inset this a little bit too. I'm just trying to maintain, like, trying to keep in mind like this, the atomic size of the stuff I've created. So I don't want to go too small. Again, I'm just real quick and dirty. I'm just going to start duplicating stuff and trying to. There we go. Just trying to see what it might look like if it had a little bit of like a little bit of 3D-ness to it. Let me just do this manually, and then it would be nice if increment snapping actually worked for edge sliding, but I can work around that. I just have to kind of eyeball it, get it close, and then just snap things into place manually. It would be nice if there was an option for it, because then I have to like eyeball these, and then I snap all this to the grid, and then in UV edit mode, I snap this to the grid. Oh yeah, this one doesn't. Ooh, interesting. I wonder where it's pulling from then. Image, an image, Delver, Dungeoneer, assets, textures, room textures. I think that's correct. There we go. Shift S, snap these to pixels, and then we should have like nice pixel perfect stuff going on. And then I can unhide all this jazz. I can select these faces and then rip them with Y. Then maybe move them back out. Set my snaps to increment. I'm not sure if I want to go all the way out or leave just a little bit of a lip there. Hard to say. Let me just quickly, it's real fast and dirty. Just try to slam all this stuff together, just to give, again, an idea of what it might look like. Okay. Yeah, if I keep the books rectilinear, it makes it a little easy. Yeah, really, this should be. Also, I missed some cuts along the way here. Okay, let's rip these. Let's try to get things quickly. There we go. Again, this might be more geo than, well, I mean, some things in Delver have a more geo than others, I suppose. Then also I want to maybe chop out the books as well. See what that looks like. Again, I'm just selecting faces and hitting Y to separate them out. This might be cool, maybe. Again, I'm just kind of freestyling, trying to find stuff that I like. There we go. Hey Javier, how are you? Yeah, I think this might be okay. And then I could again do the whole like nested prefab thing to actually have it kind of at runtime put stuff on the shelves, which could be cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna again, quick and dirty, just kind of slam a duplicate copy of this on top of it, and then re-export it as as a new bookcase and see if that looks okay. That's definitely going to be too tall. And on this back side, I want to. Yeah, this is really messy. Let's see what it looks like. So file, export, obj, dungeon. We'll call it bookcase underscore 0 to obj. All my export settings should be remembered, so that should be fine. Export, and then over here on my prefab, for bookcase, I should be able to say meshes dungeon slash bookcase 0. I still think I'm using the same texture, so I'm not gonna update that. So here I ought to be able to hit play. Yeah, and then it actually picks it up. So that's kind of cool. So is the 3D too much or is it okay? I'm trying to think, is it too much detail? I think they're too tall. I don't know. Let me try playing around with some stuff. This is just lining them up with the front of the shell. Some of these are off. What's going on here? Maybe that's what was bugging me. Maybe. So file, export. It should remember the last name, so that's cool. And then play. Okay, refresh. Yeah, so those are now to the front of the shelf, so less detail in that regard. Yeah, maybe I should pull the shelf flush with the front of this. Maybe not. I don't know, chat. What do you think? Is it too high level detail for what Delver normally is? Maybe it should be. The book should be a little bit bigger and a little bit chunkier. That might be the correct way to go. Right now, like, this is a size of 16. That's the size of 16. This is a size of 4, which is pretty small. This is a size of 8. I'm just trying to like not try to get too fine with my 3D detail. I'm wondering also, should I try to make it big enough too, so if I were to, like, if I were to say something like place entity, the bookcase, okay, no, play, okay, refresh. It's weird that's not updating there. Place entity, dungeon sets, bookcase. I can just, I guess, manually update the ungroup. Then mesh file is meshes dungeon / bookcase 0. Cool. If I turn that and I slam it against a wall, can I do the cheesy thing of putting a skull on the bookcase? Basic. There we go. Sprite item, I think is what I want, and there should be a skull here. There we go. What is it? Can I do it? Yeah, the shelf just simply isn't deep enough. Yeah, but it might be nice to make it so you can slide items in there. That could be cool. So now that I'm looking at it, maybe these tall bookcases aren't the worst. Yeah, they're pretty darn tall, though. Pretty darn tall. I think they might even be preventing some of the... Oh, yeah. They might be preventing some of the windows from spawning, but that's okay. Okay, I think I got maybe 10 more minutes left in me. It's just gonna be a couple hours of stream today. It was a bonus stream, so like it kind of came up last minute. But I appreciate the folks who came and hang out with me. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it's getting in a direction I like. I'm just, the whole atomic size of the thing is kind of bugging me a bit. Yeah, it looks like there's still issues with it. let me just real quickly just grab this this back plane here. Just push it even further back. There we go. What did that take? So yeah, there it's taken. They're deeper, which I think feels a little bit better. I think even also you want to use something like entity, clutter, book. There we go. And then we can put this book on the shelf somewhere. I think because it's already intersecting this, yeah, that looks all right. It's not, again, not the worst because it's at that weird angle because of the whole, I don't know, the way I'm rendering books or drawing books. Maybe it look better closer to the floor. And generally that's where books are closer to the floor. Yeah, it would be, I think, yeah, maybe a little bit more space would be nice, but yeah, it would be cool to have these little things kind of just dynamically pop up on the bookcases too. It's just a little rule. Yeah, so I'll probably more today, but off stream, play around with proportions of the bookshelf. But I think I'm liking it okay so far. Thinking, you know, it adds a, I don't know, it's at, yeah, it adds a little bit to the dungeon where it doesn't feel, again, they need to be toned down a little bit, but it is nice to have more variety. And I think whoever's suggesting maybe adding a little bit of metal elements to it might be onto something too. Maybe around either the feet or the top, some sort of like metal trim or something. Could be nice. Because these are too tall. I mean, like 2 units tall. And I'm just kind of speculating, like, is that too much? Yeah, I think, yeah, it's starting to grow on me. Just trying to maintain proportions. Also, I need to figure out maybe a better way to render these books. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to make it a unit and a half tall and kind of readjust the shelves so they look nicer. So if it's a unit and a half tall, that's 48 pixels. So if I did like 4 shelves, it's 12 pixels a shelf. Yeah, we'll see. Chop this in half. Yeah, so that's the upper bookcase. Let me isolate that and just cut it in half. And then remove these top parts. Okay. Then let me straighten things out a little bit. Again, this is all really like fast and loose. It's going to result in some yucky geo, but that's okay. Okay. Yeah, there's some weird. I'm not even sure what this is all about. There we go. Yeah. Fedor Korovkin says, "Hey, what kind of game engine?" It's custom. Yeah, so maybe before maybe I'll find a quick stopping point here in a little bit, and then I'll play a little bit of Delver, and then I will end my stream. Okay, so it's 48. Yeah. Uh, 375. I made a mess of things. It is written in Java and OpenGL using the libgdx framework. Yeah, it started off as a hobby project that kind of grew out of control, I suppose. Yeah, the spacing on that is not correct. Blah, 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 blah. And I also guess it's also probably not great that they're. Let me also. Going to result in some pixel stretching, but I can fix that later. I'm just trying to find proportions that I like, so I'm just doing sloppy work. Yeah, so there have been two of us working on Delver. The original creator of Delver has been working on it about 5 years, and I have been working on the project about 4 years. So let me see. The delta on that is 1.125. Which should be 375, yeah. Ningamer LTU says, why do I use Blender? Because Blender is free and it does everything I need it to, and it works decently well. Yeah, I think that's closer to being correct. I can just delete these planes on the back for now. Let me just quickly export this. It's going to be, yeah, oh man, it is all borked, isn't it? Yeah. That's not a bad suggestion, Javier. Yeah, no, Blender is perfectly fine for pixel art. Yeah, Blender can, I mean, a few settings here and there, and I even paint textures in pixel art in Blender. Yeah, but further, it looks like I have a couple of newcomers asking questions. So let me just play a little bit of Delver. We are on Steam Early Access. This stream is part of me trying to get it done. We're looking at doing another update. I think update 15. Actually, let me close that out. This June, we should be update 15 should be landing. I'm trying to get the new dungeon area refreshed. But yeah, let me just play a little bit and then I'll call it a stream. So Delver is a first-person dungeon crawler with procedural and roguelike elements. This is the camp. You can buy stuff here. Your gold carries between runs. This design problem isn't 100% solved, but it's a step in a direction. You know, we're still filling that part out, trying to add a little bit of continuity in between runs. But for the most part, each run is fresh. The dungeons are procedurally generated, so they're different each time. You know, loot drops, you know, mobs, all that good stuff from RPGs is present. I think. We also have mod support, which is really cool. We added that last update. So there are some really excellent community mods out there right now. Wow. Thanks. That's a magic trap that really has a nice long shot there. Okay, let's zap him. Or her. This is single player. It is only single player. It was never designed to be multiplayer, and at this point in time, we just don't have the time or resources to make it multiplayer. Again, there's just two of us working on this project. We work on it in our free time. It's not our full-time jobs. It's definitely a passion project, but we really enjoy it. We're trying to make the best game that we can. For me, since I'm the art guy, I'm trying to make it as beautiful as I can. Pixel art is a way of me being able to make I think a fairly unique art style, but also being able to create assets relatively quick. I can do higher poly 3D stuff. It just takes more time, which I just simply don't have. There we go. Get some arrows, get a bow, and let's be an archer for a while. Oh! Where did they go? They jumped down after me? They did. There we go. Get my... Oh, where's my arrow? There's a gold. Oh. Yeah, sometimes getting stuff out of the water is a pain. I guess, I mean, that makes sense because you're in the water. Oh, I got it. Okay, cool. So the game engine is custom. It is written in Java using the libgdx framework, which basically gives us an OpenGL context, some input handling, some audio handling. But the rest of the engine has been written by Chad. So all the physics, all the the collision, the random generation, everything else has been written by him. I've done a little bit, but not much. I try to keep by trade I am an engineer, but I really enjoy art. So that's why I play the art guy on this project. As an archer, it's important to recover your arrows. Like you can shoot them into walls, and you can get them back. Trying to maintain your arrow stock is important, and also it's been a kind of a challenging design problem. Trying to make sure that the player doesn't have too many arrows, or right now it seems like it's the player regularly doesn't have enough, and is trying to figure out a good way to solve that. Go my map. Yeah, I need to go north. Nin Gamer says make stuff float. Not sure what you mean. Some enemies are flying, which is basically floating. Oh, got a wand back there. A little gold. Scoop that up. Oh yeah. Again, we just have these little areas that kind of indicate, like life is kind of happening, even though it's in a crazy dungeon. Maybe it wasn't always the way it is. And arrows do break. I think each arrow has a roughly like a 1 in 3 chance per use to break, so you can't rely on them forever. But he also dropped another pack of arrows, so that's super helpful. Dr. Hegel says, as a joke, you can add a bonus item on the next camp which defends against the death one died directly before. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Just pushing on. I think when I hit the next level down, I'll call it a stream. Cheese is good. Snarf that. Where is this exit? Oh man. I think it might be down here. Yeah, we don't really save a lot of information. I mean, we potentially could, but right now we only track so much info about about players' runs in general. Like, it doesn't really persist per se. Like, we don't like track like a long-term like total deaths or anything like that. Maybe we should, but right now we don't. Okay. Yeah, this way. Ah, what are you doing here? Yeah, I guess if enemies do get injured, and they are less than, I think, 50% health, they will run away from the player. which is nice. I mean, the enemies aren't super smart. They mostly just march towards the player, but there's that little bit. I think we do track total deaths. I think we put it on the save slot, maybe. There's only a handful of things we actually broke my arrow. Yeah, I forget what all in all we track. No, we already have a music person that we contract through. I think this is this is the stairs down. Cool. Yeah, so you have 2 levels of dungeon, and then you get into a little shop area, and then after that you have the caves, and then the sewers, and then the ruins. Yeah, there's 4 main areas in Delver. Yeah, so let me kind of just wrap things up, I guess. This is our website is delvergame.com. You can see it behind my head right here. We are in early access. We are pushing hard to release this year. We've been out on Steam, I think 3 or 4 years. We've done 14 updates. So we try to update about once a quarter. We update at this cadence because, again, we work in our free time. So sometimes just not a lot of development happens due to life. But we're making a concerted effort to get this finished. This has been a bonus stream. I stream regularly every Sunday at noon Pacific time. So if you want to join me in a few days for some more Delver work, I'd love to see you back. I like talking about game development and art and just stuff in general. I want to thank everybody who's bought Delver. That directly financially supports me, and I appreciate that. Also, I appreciate people watching my stream. It is definitely something I look forward to, and it's an interesting way of working. So I guess take care, everybody, and I will see you this coming Sunday in a few days.